All right, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. You should all be able to see my screen, and if for some reason, if you can't, just let me know, and then I'll see what I have to do from a setting. But everyone should be able to see my screen. And as you can see by the title, we're going to be looking at how to market athletic performance. And when we come into this time of year, we're coming into November and then December. And as a former gym owner, I used to own a couple health clubs here in the Chicagoland area. As we get closer and closer towards November, especially Thanksgiving, and then from Thanksgiving to December, Christmas, you saw less and less participation in the gyms because people were involved in other activities. But once the first of the year came around, then everyone had one of their New Year's resolution is to get back into shape. And you saw a huge influx of people that came back into the gyms. And I know that we live in a bit different world today with the COVID-19 pandemic, but the gyms that are around me, they're all open. People wear their mask when they go inside. Even the public, where I live, I'm not that far from what they call the ARC, which is the Park District's health facility. And it's a very large complex, and they've been open for a long time. You just wear your mask when you go in. And so you see a lot of people that are back into exercising. And one of the things I wanted to help you understand is that if you do want to market athletic performance, I want to help you understand the keys to be able to talk to people who are into working out, into keeping themselves healthy through exercise on some of the key things to talk to them about or ask questions to create their interest so that they would want to get more information from you. So when we look at athletic performance, training, and recovery, there are a couple keys to this whole process. The first one is absolutely energy production. You know, athletes, people who are working out are looking for energy production. They're looking for the elimination of lactic acid. If you're not sure what lactic acid is, if you've worked out at any point in time in your life and you got a burning sensation in your muscle tissue, that burning sensation was the creation of lactic acid. And so one of the things I want to help you understand today is this whole aspect between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it is important to spend some time on it because it's a way for you to be able to talk to people who work out and help them understand how they can work at a higher aerobic capacity. So working aerobically. And then for people who are into bodybuilding or people who are into muscle training or people who are into sports in general, one of the things that they need to do is they need to rebuild their muscle tissue. And so amino acids are extremely important for them in the process of doing that. So when we look at athletic performance, and especially from a standpoint of marketing athletic performance, energy production is the first and foremost thing. Lactic acid elimination is key because if you can help a person, an athlete, to eliminate lactic acid in their workouts, they're going to be able to train at a higher intensity, get better results, and then that makes a difference in athletic performance, that they can compete at a higher percentage and they can compete at a higher intensity greater than what their opponent can do because they have an edge. And we're going to talk about how to create this edge. So when you're looking at respiration, there's basically two forms. There's what's called aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic respiration is where you use oxygen to help you create energy. Anaerobic respiration is where the body creates energy without oxygen present. And so glucose is always going to be your main source for energy in exercising. So the glucose molecule is the molecule that's going to be used to create the energy necessary for exercise. Now, you'll notice I have some of this information highlighted in yellow. So if you want to go into a deeper dive with regards to aerobic and anaerobic respiration, the PDF that I'm showing you today, I'll make this PDF available on the Tuesday newsletter when I send this out. And you can then click onto this link that I have down here, and that'll give you a lot more information with regards to anaerobic respiration versus aerobic respiration than what I'm going to teach you today. So keeping it simple, in anaerobic respiration, this is where ATP is produced. ATP is your energy component that your muscles need to be able to create the necessary energy for muscle contraction. And so everything glucose is converted to ATP, the form of energy that your body can use. And in anaerobic respiration, as you can see by what's highlighted in yellow, there is a final total of 2 ATPs produced per molecule of glucose. So if I've got a molecule of glucose and I'm working anaerobically without oxygen, the most energy that I can produce is 2 units of energy for my muscle tissue. And then the pyruvic acid that is left as the end product of that conversion, the body has to get rid of it for it to continue to produce energy anaerobically. So the body converts the pyruvic acid to lactic acid. And that lactic acid accumulation is what creates the burning sensation in the muscle tissue, which is the limiting factor for all athletes in their workouts, in their training, in their performance, and it does impact how quickly they can recover. Now, if I have oxygen present, then that pyruvic acid, instead of being converted to lactic acid, goes into what's called the Krebs cycle. And then that Krebs cycle is used to convert that pyruvic acid into additional forms of energy, ATP, and carbon dioxide. So as you can see in the highlighted yellow, aerobic respiration, on the other hand, produces ATP more slowly. It does, however, break glucose all the way down to carbon dioxide and producing up to 38 ATP. So basically, if I subtract out my 2 units of energy from anaerobic respiration, from the 38 total ATP produced, that means I've produced 36 additional units of energy by using oxygen, and I eliminate lactic acid because I'm taking the pyruvic acid, instead of it being converted to lactic acid, it's going into the Krebs cycle, and that pyruvic acid is converted to carbon dioxide and energy, 36 ATP more than what I would have gotten in anaerobic respiration by itself. And the beauty of carbon dioxide for an athlete is that when it comes back into the lungs, it allows the lungs to then bind more oxygen to the hemoglobin of the red blood cell, which then allows the athlete to deliver more oxygen to the working tissue. So if I can help an athlete work from an aerobic standpoint to increase their ability to work aerobically, I'm able to increase substantially their energy production and create a waste product that is actually beneficial to their body, instead of in anaerobic respiration, a really small amount of energy and a waste product that actually causes them to have muscle pain, which then limits their performance. So this whole aspect of helping an athlete understand how to work at a higher aerobic capacity is really important for their performance, training, and recovery. Now, I'm a firm believer in the art of asking questions. In fact, not next week, but I think it's the following Saturday, I'm going to go and do one of my standard, the art of asking questions webinar, because we're coming up to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you're going to most likely be in more contact with people. And the key to the art of asking questions is to listen to what people are talking about and see how you can use what they're talking about to get them interested in finding out more information. So if I'm around an athlete, I can get into a discussion with them. Are you tell me about your workouts. You could just use that simple question. Tell me about what kind of workouts do you do? Well, I do this, I do that. So when you do those workouts, do you get any burning sensation in the muscle tissue? Oh yeah, I get it all the time. Would you like to get more energy out of your workouts and at the same time get rid of that burning sensation? So again, the art of asking questions, I have a standard question that I have up here, but again, in the art of asking questions, you vary the question based upon the information that you're gleaning from the person that you're talking to. So if I could show you how you could have 18 times more energy with waste products that actually improve your performance and speed your recovery, would you be interested in learning how? Or if I'm talking with that athlete and I say to them, if I could show you how to have more energy for your workouts, less lactic acid accumulation, so that you can work at a higher intensity and have quicker recovery, would you be interested in learning how? So again, you use this art of asking questions to be able to perk interest, because athletes are always looking for an edge, and you can provide them with an edge, especially in energy production and the limiting factor that they have in anything that they do, which is lactic acid accumulation. If I can help them solve those issues, I can really help them improve everything that they're doing from an athletic standpoint. So there's two key resources. If they bite on your question that they're interested in learning how, then there's two key resource tools that you have available to you to be able to help an athlete understand how they can now begin to take another step in improving their athletic performance. The first one is the video, How Nitric Oxide Therapy Addresses Athletic Performance. And then there's a flyer that Synergy has called the Cologne List Approved, which is Pro-Arginine Plus and E9. And we'll come to that. In fact, let's just do this now. On our website, oursynergyfamily.com, that's the go-to place that if you need to find marketing information for whatever marketing strategy that you're looking to do, then you go to oursynergyfamily.com. And as you come onto this page, you'll come up to the page. This will be the top of the page. And if you scroll down, you can see that we have dedicated pages to specific marketing strategies. And we have one set up for athletic performance. All you have to do is click here to enter, and it's going to open up this page. Now, on this page, as you scroll down, here is your key resource tool from a video standpoint. The one that I'm showing to you on the right-hand side that says How Nitric Oxide Therapy Addresses Athletic Performance. This video is key to helping athletes understand how nitric oxide improves their athletic performance, helps them create greater energy, helps them to be able to reduce lactic acid accumulation. And that's what I would share with an athlete. If they were interested in getting more information, I would say to them, great, I've got a video that I think will be eye-opening for you. It's on how nitric oxide therapy can address athletic performance. May I send that to you? And if they give you their email address, or if you're smart enough on your smartphone to be able to link the video and send them a text with the video link, I'm not smart enough to do that. So I would send them an email, but I know that there's other people on this call today who are smart enough to understand how to use their phone and through a text, send them a direct link to this video. If you're using email, all you do is right click, copy video URL, and you paste that into the email that you're going to send to the person. And that would be the video that will help them. Now, let's say that you're talking to an athlete who competes. And depending upon what sport that they're competing in, may determine how often they're tested. So for example, there's a lot of people who do triathlons. Triathletes, especially once they get to a certain level, are always subjected to testing, because if they get caught with performance drugs in their system, then they are banned, usually from a year to 2 years before they can continue to compete. So again, athletes who are competing and knowing that they're going to go through testing are really careful about the things that they put into their body because they don't want to get caught. And if they get caught, they know the consequences are pretty severe. And if they're competing, they don't want to be out for a year or 2 years before they can compete again. That's a lot of wasted time in their life cycle not to be able to compete from a performance standpoint. And so that's where you come down to this one here, where if you click on this image, this is the Cologne list. This is an organization in Germany that is worldwide in its ability to help athletes understand that if they approve a product for athletic use, an athlete can then use that product and know that there's not going to be anything in that product that is going to get them into a problem if they get drug tested. And so as you can see, the Cologne list has approved both ProArch 9 Plus and E9. So both of these primary products from Synergy Worldwide have been recognized by the Cologne list as approved products for athletic performance. And so this is a great resource tool that you can use, which then helps that athlete understand that if they do want to use our product of choice for nitric oxide, which is ProArch 9 Plus, or our product of choice for natural energy, which is E9, they can safely use either one or both of these products at the same time. Now, going back to our presentation today, those are the two primary resource tools that I use when I'm working with an athlete to help them understand, first off, nitric oxide therapy and how it addresses athletic performance. And if they need to have assurances that the product that they're going to take, if they're going to use ProArch 9 Plus or E9, even if they don't ask for it, I still like to send this to the athlete so that they can feel comfortable that their choice is not going to get them into trouble in case they ever go through any kind of drug testing. Now, Synergy Worldwide has two products that they've created for athletic performance. Let's go back to our page here and go back to the athletic performance page. Let's scroll back up. So Synergy has two products that they've created. They have ProArch 9 Plus and they have ProArch 9 Plus Active. Now, both of those products are beneficial for improving athletic performance. If you want my opinion is that if I had a choice between the two products, I would always go to ProArch 9 Plus. I know the ProArch 9 Plus Active is a good product. It works on a little bit different level than the regular ProArch 9 Plus, but I'm a firm believer that if you want to improve athletic performance, then nitric oxide therapy is the best way of doing it. And that anything that you can do to maximize nitric oxide in the bloodstream for an athlete is going to give them an edge in their workouts and an edge in their performance, because they're going to be able to use nitric oxide to improve circulation. And if I improve circulation, I then improve the delivery of oxygen and nutrients, as well as I improve the ability to flush the muscle of waste products so that that athlete can then convert oxygen to more energy, reduce the accumulation of waste product, especially pyruvate in their system, so that it doesn't convert to lactic acid, and increase their carbon dioxide levels in their lung, which then allows them to bind more oxygen to the red blood cells, to the hemoglobin of the red blood cells, to deliver more oxygen. So I'm a firm believer that nitric oxide therapy is the key. And although Active has some L-arginine in it, it's nothing compared to the amount of L-arginine that's in ProArch 9 Plus, plus all the other ingredients that's in ProArch 9 Plus are all specifically designed to maximize nitric oxide production, as well as when you're dealing with athletes and the creation of energy, you're always creating free radicals. And the nice thing about the ProArginine Plus that we know of is that it helps to prevent vascular inflammation. Vascular inflammation typically occurs through free radicals that are created in the process of the body just existing and living. And so if I can reduce that, I can then help to protect the lining of the vascular system for the athlete, so they can again continue to be able to harness the benefits of the lining of the endothelium, the lining of the vascular system called the endothelium, to maximize the ability of that lining to do all that it does for helping to maintain good cardiovascular health. So I'm always going to revert to ProArginine Plus as the product of choice for athletic performance. Now, when I'm dealing with an athlete, I usually recommend that they take it 45 minutes prior to their workout or performance. If they're going to be in an athletic event, then 45 minutes prior to that event. If they're going to the gym to work out, 45 minutes prior to the workout. Why the 45-minute time period? It's usually because I want them to be able to have the increase in nitric oxide happening when they start their workout program. This is not an instantaneous thing that happens in your body when you take ProArginine Plus. There's a period of time for the ingredients in ProArginine Plus to get into your bloodstream so that your endothelium can then convert those ingredients, L-arginine, into nitric oxide and the other ingredients to enhance the ability to maximize the endothelium's ability to create nitric oxide. So I opt for 45 minutes. I usually recommend that they mix it in 12 ounces of water, drink half of it in the first 15 minutes, and then drink the rest of it over the next 30 minutes. So what they're doing is they're basically using it as a pre-hydration drink. They're using it as a pre-hydration drink, and it's helping them to, again, get the proper ingredients into their system so that they can optimize this nitric oxide production. That allows them to work at a higher aerobic capacity, producing more energy and limiting the production of lactic acid. And as I've said multiple times, lactic acid is always the limiting factor in training, performance, and recovery. So if I'm working with a person, they're used to taking supplements that a lot of times have a stimulant in it. Well, our products don't have any stimulants in them. And so when a person, an athlete, is using ProArginine Plus, I usually tell them, let's use a 2-week period to begin to build up your nitric oxide levels. And then after that 2-week period, what I want you to do is I want you to now step up your workout. I want you to go to the next level in your workout program. And this is what you're going to experience. You're going to find that you can work at a higher intensity and you won't get the lactic acid buildup that you're used to normally seeing, which means that not only can you do that in your first set where you can work at a higher intensity in your first set, but you'll find that you recover faster, so that your second and third sets, depending upon how many sets an athlete is doing in their workout, is you're going to find that you can then work at a higher percentage in your second and third sets. That means that you can create greater muscle stimulation, and you're going to get greater results in muscle development, in both endurance and strength, so that you can continue to improve your athletic performance. And especially for what I would call the bodybuilders, one of the things that is their limiting factor is the creation of lactic acid. And so I've had some bodybuilders actually come to me and say, "Hey, I'm scared because I don't feel the muscle pain anymore. It's like I'm doing things that I never thought I could do before. Is this safe?" And I said, "Yeah, there's not a problem. What's happening is what I told you. You're working at a much higher aerobic capacity So you don't get that lactic acid, which was your limiting factor before. Now you can better reach your potential in what you can do, what your body's going to do. You know, we're finite beings, so there's only so far that we can take our physical performance, but we can now get towards maximizing that physical performance, whereas before we had the limiting factor of lactic acid. If they're also interested in an energy component, especially for athletes that are bike riders, you know, you either whether they do short sprints or whether they do long rides, both of those are important to them in terms of energy production. And so I'm a firm believer in E9. E9 is a great product that will allow them to be able to create energy over a long period of time without the crash and burn that they've usually experienced from other energy supplements. And again, you mix it in 12 ounces, and I recommend that they consume it in the first 15 minutes, and then they hydrate over the remaining 30 minutes of that 45-minute period. They can also combine the E9 with Pro Arginine Plus. You know, I like to call that the ultimate energy combination, where you take a stick of Pro Arginine Plus and a stick of E9, and you put them together in your pre-workout drink, and you consume it the same way. 45 minutes prior to the workout, 12 ounces of water, drink it in, drink, at least half of that in the first 15 minutes, and then hydrate over the next 30 minutes with the remainder that's in your bottle. And it will make a huge difference in their energy levels in their gym, not only why they're working out, but also in the recovery phase and how much energy they have afterwards in the whole process of recovery. Now, there is Pro Arginine Plus Active. You can see that the new packaging is different than what the video that Synergy Worldwide has. Going back here, this is the old video from Synergy Worldwide. It's a good video. I like it. I like some of the older videos that Synergy Worldwide has done on their products than the newer ones, because one, there's a person talking, and secondly, they give you more information than what the newer videos do. But again, it's a good video. Going back to the product, again, in this case, I would do the active 30 minutes prior to the exercise is what they recommend. And it's designed to improve endurance and stamina, reduce fatigue, enhance blood circulation, reduce the time it takes to recover from physical activity. So the basic difference, because folic acid is in both Pro Arginine Plus and Active, the B vitamins are both in this Pro Arginine Plus and Active. The D ribose is in both Pro Arginine Plus and Active. So the main difference is the amount of L-arginine. I don't have a Proactive in front of me. I think it's I think it's 1.2 grams in the Active. I could be wrong on that. I'd have to look at a label. I don't have that in front of me. But there's 5 grams of L-arginine in Pro Arginine Plus. So there's at least 4 times the amount of L-arginine in Pro Arginine Plus compared to the Active. And again, I'm a firm believer that you want the L-arginine, because L-arginine not only fuels the nitric oxide pathway, but L-arginine fuels 6 other metabolic pathways in the body. So L-arginine is just a hugely important amino acid for every individual, especially athletes. And then there's quercetin. Quercetin is in the Active. It is not in Pro Arginine Plus. And quercetin is a powerful antioxidant, which again is important for an athlete, because athletes generate free radicals in their workouts. Anytime that you use oxygen for the creation of energy, you generate free radicals. And so free radicals can cause cellular damage, especially cellular damage at the of the vascular system, which would be the endothelium. So quercetin is a powerful antioxidant. And if you remember our presentations about antioxidants and free radical is missing an outer electron. It's unstable. It's going to try to stabilize itself by stealing an electron from another molecule. which then creates another free radical. And that process continues all the way down until the last stealing of an electron is a cell membrane, which then causes inflammation. And repeated inflammation, chronic inflammation, is the root cause of almost all diseases. So an antioxidant gives away its outer electron to stabilize the free radical. And the beauty about an antioxidant is that it can be stable whether it has an even number of electrons or an odd number of electrons in its outer orbit. So an antioxidant can freely give away its electron to stabilize the free radical, which then stops the process, and then the antioxidant remains stable. So if I can stop the free radical cascade from affecting cell membranes, I can then stop the inflammation and damage the cell membranes. And that's where the quercetin comes in. It's, again, a very powerful antioxidant that helps to protect the body from the free radicals created through energy production in exercise. So that is a great benefit in the Pro Arginine Plus Active. Now, athletes also typically are looking for amino acids so that they can rebuild their muscle tissue. And most athletes use some form of protein shake that is usually whey protein. Whey protein's fine, but if you ask me, my opinion is pea protein is a lot better than whey protein. So pea protein is not commonly found in most of the shakes that are out there in the market, the protein shakes that are out there. You know, most of those shakes use whey protein, which comes from cow's milk. When you look at pea protein, here's the direct comparison between pea protein and whey protein. If I'm taking 25 grams of pea protein versus 25 grams of whey protein, you can see from a caloric intake standpoint, they're about the same. From a carb standpoint, they're about the same. From a protein standpoint, they are the same from the amount of protein that you're getting, 25 grams of protein. From a fat standpoint, slightly higher in pea protein, but it's a healthy fat. And a healthy fat burned properly in the body is always going to hold hunger over a longer period of time. So here's why pea protein is so much better for an athlete than whey protein. When you look at it, pea protein contains 3 times more L-arginine than whey protein. So if I've got 25 grams of pea protein versus 25 grams of whey protein, the amount of L-arginine in the pea protein is 1.5 milligrams, whereas in the whey protein, it's not quite a half a gram. So I've got 1.5 grams of L-arginine in the pea protein versus a little less than a half a gram in the whey protein. And as we all know, L-arginine is critical for nitric oxide production. So an athlete who is using a pea protein supplement, our Biome Shake is a great pea protein supplement, certified vegan and gluten-free, then they can deliver more L-arginine into their body. And again, as I shared with you, L-arginine goes down 7 different metabolic pathways. Nitric oxide is just one of those pathways that it goes down. But again, I can help an athlete get better results in muscle development by using pea protein versus whey protein. And although when we go back to here, looking at this marketing page for athletic performance, again, the highlights are the video on the right-hand side, how nitric oxide therapy addresses athletic performance. And then as you come down here, I would recommend that if you want to, understand this page, go on the page and click on things that are of interest to you. So the IM cycling team over in Europe uses the Synergy Worldwide products. So you can, if you're looking for a testimonial on how the Synergy products help athletes, just watch these videos. All you have to do is click on the image and the video plays right on the screen for you. When you come down here with regards to athletic performance, sometimes it's helpful to send this. I like to send this to my customers that use ProArginine Plus as a way of helping them to realize that they're taking the best L-arginine supplement in the marketplace. As you can see, Synergy, kind of blurs out these other products, but there's only 2 products that come close to Synergy Worldwide's ProArginine Plus in the creation of nitric oxide. Everything else is a half to a third to a quarter of what you would get compared to ProArginine Plus. So this is a great PDF that you can send to a person to help, again, confirm with them that they've made the right choice. Or for an athlete, sending this PDF on the clone list to, again, confirm in their mind that the product that they're taking is not going to get them into any trouble with regards to drug testing. From an instruction standpoint, we have instructions here on how to take the product properly. There's instructions in English as well as in Spanish, and then in packets. So if a person's using the jumbo jar, I typically send the English one or the Spanish one because it's designed for people who are taking the jumbo jar and using the scooper that's inside the jumbo jar. If I got a person who's using packets only through the boxes, then I send this one because it's very difficult to get a half a serving out of a packet. So I just do 1 serving and then 2 servings. And so again, the instructions are geared towards proper use of the packets. And then if you wanted other information with regards to helping a person understand the product, there's a fact sheet for the ProArginine Plus Active that you can send. There's a fact sheet for ProArginine Plus that you can send. There's a checklist that we created for helping people understand how to ask the right questions to get the best L-arginine supplement. There's a link to Dr. Ignaro's No More Heart Disease, which is, although this I think is now about 20 plus years old, it still is the best book that I've seen on helping people understand nitric oxide and how it can benefit people. Then there's the desk reference, physician's desk reference flyer. There's some other brochures that you have available to you. There's the science info sheet. When they did the clinical study on ProArginine Plus, here is it in English, here it is in Spanish, and you can use those. And then if you really want to dive into some other stuff, there's some other recordings that we have. And then if you remember, I told you that last week we did, can I say that presentation, or was it the week before? I don't remember. That was, I think, yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, I've got that information up here. Can I say that? It helps you understand acceptable product claims. It gives you the direct link to the Synergy Worldwide PDF for acceptable product claims. It also gives you the link to the PDF that I used in the Saturday presentation. So this is now on all the marketing pages, that if you need to review that, whatever your marketing strategy is, if you go towards the bottom of the page, you will find this information on what I can and cannot say. So with that said, do I have any questions from anyone on today's presentation?
Hi, good morning, Dan. It's Donald.
Yes, Donald.
Another excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Just a couple of points. Actually, Dr. Ignaro, he's bringing out a new book in February after 20 years. So just thought I'd mention that.
Okay. What's the title of it?
The same thing. It's
Okay.
just a revision,
okay,
an update on that. The other thing which I am in agreement with you on the ProArginine Plus as opposed to active is that there is no L-citrulline in the active, and
correct.
There's like an argument between the bodybuilders, which is better, the citrulline and arginine. So I would tend to go, as you said, to with the ProArginine Plus because they're believe that his the citrulline, this is bodybuilders, that works as opposed to the arginine. And we know that in the urea cycle, it's the arginine that goes back to citrulline to start the process. So thanks for that. And again, another excellent presentation.
Thank you, Donald. Appreciate it. Anyone else with any questions or comments before we say goodbye? So if I don't have any other questions or comments, then hopefully everyone will enjoy your Halloween weekend and have fun trick-or-treating.